Sun cast a shadow, a digital line is coming over the mountain and over your mind. Double down your Bitcoin, hang on for the ride. We're moving into the future, one block at a time. We're moving into the future, one block at a time.
Welcome to Once Upon a Coin, documenting the ongoing history of blockchain and cryptocurrency. As always, I'm your storyteller, Jason Cassidy. Today's story is one that's worth going and grabbing some popcorn for as you kick back and take it all in. And that's because you're coming along for the ride as we take an up-close and personal look at one of the most notorious and controversial projects in crypto history. This is the story of Bitconnect. Not much is known about Bitconnect's early days, but what we do know is that a British man by the name of Ken Fitzsimmons incorporated the company and owned about 75% of it early on. Interestingly enough, Ken was never listed on the website or publicly associated with Bitconnect, and that's because that privilege was reserved for the other owner, Satish Kumbhani. And this will become an important nuance later on in our story. Let's go into some details here and establish the backstory so that we know exactly what Bitconnect is. Launched in February of 2016, Bitconnect marketed itself as a lending platform that had their own proof-of-stake blockchain and cryptocurrency, the latter being called Bitconnect Coin, or BCC. The idea being that new users would sign up on the platform and deposit their precious Bitcoin with Bitconnect, which would then be converted into Bitconnect Coin. Users could then choose from a number of different tiers to invest the Bitconnect Coin into. The longer the lockup period and the more money invested, the larger the eventual payout. These payouts could be achieved thanks to the company's proprietary trading bot, which would be busy working away generating all these lofty returns. Bitconnect was offering up to 40% a month in interest on their top-tier investment options, and this is a number that would get anyone's attention. Taking a closer look at Bitconnect reveals that they were clearly looking for a certain type of customer, holders of Bitcoin that were looking for an easy-to-understand way of making consistently high returns without having to put a lot of thought into how it was all happening in the background. Bitconnect touted themselves as a one-stop shop for people who are new to cryptocurrency. You could invest your money with them and make a killing, store your money with them using their wallet service, and you could even get your social fix as they were dedicated to crafting the largest Bitcoin social network in the world. This would be a safe place to start your crypto adventure, and from there you could slowly branch out as you got the hang of things. This line of messaging worked well for Bitconnect, and it hit home with a lot of people that were just getting started out in cryptocurrency. And to be honest, a lot of the crypto platforms today still aren't all that user-friendly. You often have to possess a little bit of knowledge to make use of the coolest applications. And this is even more so the case back in 2016 when the industry was still relatively young. Okay, so now that we have a firm understanding of what Bitconnect is, let's get back to the main course. The rest of 2016 saw the platform in beta as they prepared for their ICO, which ran for a total of 46 days from November to the end of December. The sale netted them just over $400,000, enough to carry operations forward, leaving beta and moving towards a full production launch in 2017. The company had done a lot of small things right leading up to the sale that helped them go into the new year with a lot of traction. Firstly, they had gone the road of publishing their own content, which helped prove their trustworthiness in the eyes of mega search engines like Google, who were ultimately responsible for a lot of the site's traffic. Moreover, Bitconnect made a noticeable push to become as internationally friendly as possible. The site was translated into dozens of different languages with targeted marketing campaigns running in lockstep. So while Bitconnect entered the crypto scene to little to no fanfare, it quickly started to gain in popularity and grew a loyal fan base within the first few months of leaving beta. And soon, more and more users were signing up to join the platform and grow the rapidly expanding Bitconnect family, and that meant bigger and bigger payouts. This is where the story takes a little bit of a turn. If you're a fan of the show, then you know your crypto history, and that means you know that 2017 was a critically important year for cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, as this was a bull market year, and this bull market was spectacular. Bitcoin went from $900 to almost $20,000 in 2017, helping push the digital currency to the very top of every financial headline and news story. This, unsurprisingly, helped to onboard a lot of new people to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general. So the bull market, coupled with Bitconnect's already clearly defined upward trajectory, made for a very explosive year for the company. A lot of new people to crypto were being introduced to Bitconnect, and the platform did everything in its power to take advantage of this stroke of good fortune. A large amount of resources were being poured into marketing, specifically YouTubers and other social media influencers. And the constantly rising price of Bitcoin in 2017 meant that Bitconnect users were making a lot of money now. And as we all know, the best form of marketing is, of course, word of mouth. A lot of people will start talking about your product or service if it starts making them a lot of money. And this is exactly what was happening with Bitconnect. In addition to this, their own coin, BCC, was also doing well, and by mid-2017 it was making new highs on a monthly basis. The height of the Bitconnect mania was undoubtedly defined by the time October came around, as this is when Bitconnect held their first and only annual ceremony, in essence, their version of a crypto conference. It was a real gala event with over 2,000 attendees. The conference is remembered for what happened on stage because this is by far one of the most memorable and well-known moments in Bitconnect's short history. One of its many avid supporters, a man named Carlos Matos, was on a speaking panel, and when it was his turn to introduce himself, he made sure the world would never forget his name.
Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. What's up, 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 Bitconnect? Hey, everybody. My name is Carlos Matos, and I am coming from New York City, New York. Let me tell you guys that I am so excited. I am so happy. I am really so thrilled to be right now sharing this amazing, glorious, super and exciting moment of my life with all of you guys.
It's hard to fault Carlos here, as he truly did believe every word he was saying as a loyal supporter. And this just goes to show you how passionate some people were about Bitconnect back then. It was a seemingly good deal to a lot of non-technical people who didn't want to live and breathe in the world of crypto. They just wanted a very simple, easy to understand investment, and if it made them a lot of money in the process, well, all the better.
Bitconnect offered investors a high return for what they saw was a very, very low risk. Because so many other people were part of it, it made it feel so real. It's a herd mentality. Too many people read the news about how people make 1,000% in a day on certain meme coins, but they don't actually understand the true value of it. And in this current economic times, people will get a bit more desperate to make the returns.
As the bull market raged on into the last few months of the year, the company pulled out all the stops in hopes of driving even more business. Seeing the viral social effect taking place with their product, the company quickly moved to institute a referral program. The more people that you referred to the product, like friends and family who actually signed up with Bitconnect, the more you earned. If you're wondering why no one had stood up by now and started asking questions about Bitconnect's legitimacy, well, they did. The problem here was that it's very difficult to get a man to understand something like reason when they're literally being paid handsomely to do the exact opposite. Said another way, for every single concern, criticism, and warning that the public gave around Bitconnect, another 10 people would sign up for the platform based on testimonials they would hear about people just like them making easy money. And that message was simply resounding with investors on a deeper level than any warning could.
Different people that were part of it were able to invite friends, and because a friend invited them, most people would take it, okay, I guess this friend has done their research, so, and if they're getting this, I want this. The friend got a commission off what they invested, so they were incentivized to bring people on board.
I think the biggest lessons that I think anybody could have learned was that you always have to do your due diligence before putting your money into any crypto. You know, when they say, hey, you know, send your friends and you'll get X, that's what a pyramid scheme is. It relies on those people.
Understanding risk, reward, and also understanding about what's realistic and what's not.
By the end of the year, the value of Bitconnect coin, or BCC, was going nuts, having reached a high of over $420 per coin. For some context, the post-ICO price that BCC debuted at was just 17 cents US, meaning that ICO investors and anyone that bought the coin soon after were now making out like bandits. It all seemed almost too good to be true. A coin that just kept going up in value on a platform that allowed you to make 1% returns daily. It was basically akin to printing money. Well, as everyone that was associated with Bitconnect was about to find out, if something looks like it's too good to be true, it probably is. On December 17th, Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto market peaked. This was the very apex of the bull market, and from here, there was plenty of room to go back down. The collapsing price of all crypto assets greatly hurt projects like Bitconnect that didn't have any fundamentals behind their coin or platform. And this meant that when ships like this took on water, they sank right to the bottom of the ocean. Almost a month later, on January 16th, 2018, Bitconnect's demise became apparent when they announced they'd be shutting down their exchange and lending platforms just a few days later, on January 21st. The news shocked people, and coupled with the already very real fear from the ending of the bull market, investors began selling off Bitconnect coin in rapid succession. A stampede quickly formed to get out of Bitconnect, with the coin's price opening the day at $255 but finishing the day at a devastatingly low price of just $19. Most investors now were completely ruined, with some having put their entire life savings into Bitconnect in the hopes of becoming a millionaire overnight. The really tough part here is that things happened so damn fast that most people didn't have time to react until the damage was already done. And to make matters worse, the company received many cease and desist orders from state regulators who were claiming the company had been operating as a Ponzi scheme. Bitconnect was now officially dead. In the aftermath of the collapse, several investigations and lawsuits were launched against the company and its promoters. The hammer was finally dropped when in September of 2022, the SEC, or Security and Exchange Commission, sued Bitconnect's founder, Satish Kumbhani. They alleged that he was the mastermind behind the now defunct company that had raised an estimated $2 billion from retail investors over the course of the Ponzi scheme's operations. This, of course, is bad news for Satish, but angry Bitconnect investors will still have to wait for their day in court because, as of right now, Satish Kumbhani's whereabouts is unknown.
You can't expect the government or regulators to look after individuals all the time. So this is a big question that has been asked across the industry. So where does the buck lie? Buck always lies with yourself. You have to be accountable by what you do and how you do it.
If you're looking to rid yourself of some bad crypto investing habits and want to scare yourself sober, then may I suggest you take a look at some of these people's stories. There's a seemingly endless amount of them, and each one comes with its own unique set of circumstances. They all do have one thing in common though. Each one of them at some point knew there was something off about Bitconnect deep down. But when the moment of truth arrived, they just couldn't admit that they were wrong about something that on the surface felt so right. And this is exactly how Ponzi schemes like Bitconnect work, playing on the very real emotions that make us all human. The fear of missing out on something seemingly incredible, and the resulting greed of always wanting more and more. And when more finally does come, it never being quite enough. Companies like Bitconnect are experts at creating just the right environment and inducing just the right emotions to go ahead and take advantage of this dynamic. If nothing else, Bitconnect serves as a cautionary tale that the grass isn't always greener on the other side. High reward assets often come with high risk. So while Bitcoin and Ethereum probably won't make you rich overnight, there's definitely something to be said about proving yourself over time. Bitconnect was able to convince a heck of a lot of people holding perfectly good Bitcoin to exchange it in return for a promise of something better one day. You can be guaranteed there's going to be another Bitconnect in the future. Human nature virtually assures this. But for those that keep an open mind and listen to their gut, these type of situations can be a news story that you read one day, opposed to being a chapter in your life that, frankly, you'd rather forget. I hope you enjoyed today's stroll down memory lane. Until next time, have fun and enjoy life, my friends. I'll be back soon with another incredible story to tell you.